famine in Gaza, the first ever in the Middle East. The United Nations has confirmed famine in Gaza, calling it a failure of humanity. A UN-backed report says over 500,000 people face catastrophic hunger. It warns famine will spread to Deir Al-Balah and Khan Younis by September. At least 132,000 children could die from acute malnutrition. The report calls it a man-made disaster, blaming aid blockages, bombardment, and the collapse of food and water systems. Gaza's health ministry says 271 people have already died, including 112 children. Britain's Foreign Secretary David Lammy described it as utterly horrifying, saying Israel's refusal to allow aid has caused this moral outrage. Israel rejected the findings, calling them biased, and says restrictions are meant to pressure Hamas. Now for this discussion, we're joined by Ali Mohammed Abushbak. He's an independent Palestinian researcher, joins us live from Cairo. Thank you, Ali, for joining us again. Good to see you. Ali, what more can you tell us about the situation with this report by UN?
Thank you, Usuma, for having me. It's worth mentioning that since morning, more than 19 civilians have been killed by Israeli forces in Mawasi, Khan Younis, and in northern part of Gaza. This report, it's clear since when Israel resumed the war, even before that, the mid of March 2025, Gaza and Gaza Strip, it's used to suffer from the starvation and the lack of a humanitarian aid, and the food and lack of essential element and supplies in Gaza. It's clear not only for the Palestinian and the international community. We are talking about, we are now in the age of social media. Everything, it's clear. All the international organizations, they confirm there is a famine in Gaza and the civilians are suffering from the starvation. Around 100 children have been died because of the malnutrition in Gaza, and it's worth mentioning that the health system, it's collapsed because of the Israelis policy on the ground, and prohibited for the Palestinian hospital to receive some essential element to treat the injured people and the people who are suffering from the malnutrition. Several of children, they are not taking properly milk and food for their health, that's impacted their health. And we have seen several of footage and picture that representing how much it's brutal, the starvation in Gaza. As well as not only the local organization who used to urge the international community to interfere and to stop using the food as a weapon in the war in Gaza. So also today we have seen that United Nations and some international organization, they are urging the international community to stop and to pressure Israel to stop using food as a weapon in this war, and it's considered as violating the human rights and the international law, especially the Geneva Conventions that which protecting the civilians from being a subject in the war, and collective punishing the civilians. It's also considered as a violation for human rights and for the Geneva Convention. Several of countries pressurized Israel to stop using the food as a weapon, and it's clear for everyone, despite that Israel denied this fact and also denied to accept this fact and this rule, which it's obviously clear for everyone who's watching social media, who's scrolling on social media. It's clear how much the civilians are suffering. The only casualties in this war is the civilians, not Hamas. Israel claimed that Hamas, it's looted the humanitarian aid, and it's totally propaganda. Today, the family of captive, they are calling for a protest in Tel Aviv, and they are going to protest in the home of the president of Israel, as well as the Prime Minister of Transportation in Israel, to pressurize them to accept the deal. There is a talking and discuss in Israeli government to send the delegation to continue the negotiation with Hamas with regard the last proposal that put it by the mediator Egypt and Qatar to stop the war at least temporarily for 60 days. On the ground, civilians are completely also frustrated of this situation. You can't imagine people are wishing today to kill and to die among of these terrible situation, among of this a challenging and the challenge that they are facing in Gaza. I talked to many Palestinians. They said we wish to die now because they are starving. They are powerless. They can't do anything. There is no hope for them. You can't imagine. And among of these things, the report is talking about departure the Gaza civilians and the civilians from Gaza City to Rafah. And there is a report that about departure the civilians from whole Gaza Strip to other land and relocate. Not re, it's. And displace the civilians
Yes.
from Gaza. It's considered as
Yes.
an ethnic cleansing according to several of international media and media mainstream.
Yes,
So
Ali.
we are, yes, Osama.
Yes, Ali, we're running out of this time for this discussion, but we will come back to you. And thank you very much for joining